Hey, Ober Sports, Jacob Ober here. So, with the 2017 NFL regular season coming to an end this Sunday, and the NFL playoffs all locked in, every team is set, I figured it'd be a good time to give you my 2017 wild card predictions. So, without further ado, here they are. So, game number one is going to be Titans at Kansas City, and this is going to be an interesting matchup. The Titans and Chiefs are both teams that had a lot of promise coming into this year. They both haven't quite lived up to the expectations, but they both also did just enough to get into the playoffs in the end. At the end, Kansas City came off to that hot start at the beginning of the year. Then they kind of faltered a little bit, but they managed to pick themselves back up, and now they're in the playoffs. And Tennessee, I think a lot of people thought Tennessee was going to win the AFC South this year, but it wasn't to be. But they still made the playoffs, and they will be playing in the wild card as the AFC's number 5 seed, and that's quite the accomplishment for them. So they're going to be going into Kansas City, though, and Kansas City is a very, very tough place to play, especially for an inexperienced team like them. And really, Kansas City, I think, all around, I think they're a better coached team. They have a better quarterback. They have a better defense. I can't see a reason why Tennessee is going to win this game. It should be a good game. I do think it will be, but in the end, Kansas City will prevail. Our second AFC matchup, the Bills at the Jaguars, and boy, I would have laughed in your face if you said that this was going to be an NFL playoff matchup this year. This is going to be another interesting game to see. We've got the Buffalo Bills against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars ended up winning the AFC South this year behind that impressive defense. And Buffalo got in off of a miraculous play by Cincinnati that resulted in a Cincinnati touchdown that gave them the lead and ultimately the win, which knocked Baltimore out of the playoffs with their loss. So Buffalo gets into the playoffs here. Buffalo has not been to the playoffs since 1999. Jacksonville has not been there since 2008. These are two underdog teams. These are teams that haven't been there in a long time, and they're two teams that are easy to root for. Buffalo is going to be coming to this game without LaShawn McCoy, most likely because he suffered an injury today against the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo's game that they ended up winning, which helped clinch the playoff berth. So it's going to be an uphill climb for the Buffalo Bills, and that defense is not going to be easy to beat, especially on the road. So I'm going to have to go with Jacksonville in this one. Their defense is very good, and their defense is going to give them an opportunity to pull off an upset in the divisional round, I think, too. On the NFC side, you have the Falcons at the Rams, and the Rams and the Falcons are two very, very good teams, and I think this is a toss-up. And they're pretty opposite when it comes to terms of experience, because the Falcons have been to the playoffs many times in the past few years. The Rams are making their first playoff appearance in over a decade, I believe. So the inexperience here on both sides is going to be might be a difference maker in this, but I believe that the Rams are a more talented team, a more well-rounded team. I think they have a better defense and they have better playmakers. But Atlanta has that experience factor, and that plays a huge part in the playoffs. But I do believe the Rams, since they have that home field advantage, believe me, that Los Angeles crowd is going to show up. I think the Rams are going to take this one. I have the Rams winning against the Falcons, but it's going to be a very, very close game for sure. And last but not least, we have the Saints and the Panthers. Panthers at Saints. And this is another toss-up because the NFC South has been very competitive this year. And believe me, though, that Superdome is a very, very hard place to win at in the playoffs. And the Saints are going to have a major advantage in the home field part. It's going to be very hard for the Panthers to come in and beat the Saints on the road, I believe. Even though they have a very dangerous offense with Cam Newton and Devin Funchess and Ed Dixon, it's going to be tough for Carolina to come in and beat the Saints. And the Saints have plenty of playmakers as well, with Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Melvin Ingram. And really, it's been pretty amazing to see the Saints, who have been such a pass-first team so many years in the past, go from a pass-happy team to more of a grinded-out team, a team that feeds off of its running game. And their defense hasn't been that bad either this year. So overall, these are two pretty evenly matched teams, but since the Saints are at home, I'm going to give it to the Saints. So my winners this week are going to be Kansas City, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and Los Angeles. I'm gonna go with the clean sweep on the home teams for this year, for this wild card round, and it's justified because home field advantage is really something that you like in the playoffs, and to not have the home field advantage puts your team at a major disadvantage, especially when you're in the playoffs and the teams and the crowd is all fired up and into it. It's going to be tough for these road teams to come in and beat teams like the Saints and the Rams on the road. It's going to be very, very tough, but it should be a very interesting weekend to watch, and I can't wait to see it. And really, with the Packers out of it this year, I couldn't ask for a better playoff field because there's so many underdogs, so many teams to root for. And really, as long as Minnesota and New England aren't there in the Super Bowl, I don't care. Just don't let them win because I cannot stand Minnesota fans and I cannot stand Patriot fans. So anyways, guys, that's all I have to say in this video. Let me know your picks in the comments or if you disagree or agree with me. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.